So then, so this was actually a good promo. Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page cut a promo, and they picked on Sting. Yeah. Ethan Page said Darby Allin's had a permanent dent in his forehead from him, and that's why he has to wear his ugly makeup. He then took credit for putting metal in Darby's elbow, and Darby Allin showed up and attacked both men, and they got the upper hand on 2-on-1. Sting nowhere to be seen. And these two guys are beating the piss out of him and threatening they were going to throw him off the balcony.
He was climbing the stairs.
But instead, no lie. Konnan, did you see this? They threw him down the stairs. That kid let them throw him down the stairs.
Yeah, right.
What an idiot.
Because that's his gimmick. That's his gimmick.
Still, though, I don't care if that's his gimmick.
Like, that's his gimmick. I'm a daredevil. I'm crazy. I'll do crazy, stupid shit. And fans are like, wow, you're cool because you'll do shit I won't do. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that to me was weird about this. First of all, how do you jump somebody and they still kick your You know what I'm saying? Like, he jumped them, and they ended up throwing him down the stairs. So you look like a to start off with.
He got what he deserved,
that's
right?
Right.
And it's just going to...
That's number one. Number two, every single week, him and Sting are together like they're trick-or-treating, like the dad and the kid both have the same thing on. This week, you don't see Sting anywhere, right? And it was also very weird to me because they very rarely let the heels lay heat. So I was happy about that. I was pleased don't let Sting come out of somewhere or somebody throw them down the stairs. Let them get some heat, and they did.
Well, this is you're gonna have Darby defending the title against Miro next week. Now Darby has an excuse when Miro beats him.
Why are you getting ahead of us here?
I'm not getting ahead. I'm talking about Darby Allin.
Well, talking about that, well, then why wasn't Miro at the stairs beating him up when he was laying there?
Why did Miro push him?
He hadn't signed the contract yet. He was backstage negotiating still.
All right, we're getting out of sync here. Julia Hart. Julia Hart's on the show this week. Nice. I guess everybody's really expecting to see you go. Julia Hart versus Britt Baker, and she beat her in a minute and a half. And Baker celebrated with Rebel after the match, and Giovanni introduced some analysis of Christian Cage's kill switch and frog splash. The Varsity and Blondes were in the ring after the video, and there's a fatal four-way for the tag team title shot. So I don't. If you guys want to talk about this, this is exactly how you expect. Daniels and Kazarian looked like the best workers in the match and won the match. So it was the correct result happened here. But it did get too out of sync, and this didn't follow like a ridiculously crazy path because Frankie and Daniels probably kept it a little bit more. Didn't let these guys go overboard.
I didn't notice. I didn't notice when she was on TV, but this Julia Hart's not a bad little number there.
Yeah, she's a cutie.
Yeah.
The one thing is Frankie still has a better tan than Britt Baker. I think Britt Baker was with Matt Hardy that day. She was orange today to me.
Where is Matt Hardy? What the hell's going on here?
He's still tanning because she was orange, man.
I felt bad, though, for the Pillman boy because he had his dad's tights on, and JR mentioned that his mom or somebody was in the audience.
His aunt.
And there he was taking the dive in the match. And they got that Pillman thing on Dark Side coming out this weekend. So let the guy, have a moment in the sun or something.
That's a bummer. I saw the first hour. That's not that it's going to be a happy story. The guy died at 35, but that first hour is a bummer, big time.
And they talk about getting around. Go ahead. No, I don't want to get off on a tangent. All right, so stick to NXT.
The thing to me, Britt Baker's gotten better over time in wrestling and promo, but she gets way more time than all the other girls combined. Give them some time so we know something about him and have some sort of connection with them. And Miro gets a lot of promo time for a guy that can't talk with the Schwarzenegger accent. But I will say this, I thought his promo today was good.
Yeah, it was.
And what was the other thing? Oh, and bro, I love Brian Pillman to death, but him and that other guy just screamed Jobber City, like big time.
You'd have to consider that that's just their little hold pattern right now, and Pillman's probably going to turn on them and go nuts.
Well, you got these, but they have all these shows. And they have records, and they have rankings, so who's going to win like every match.
Yeah,
who's going to lose every match.
On the previous with Britt Baker, that Hart girl, they even had on her little thing.
0-6.
She lost her debut match on AEW. I was like, why would you put that?
So they do a video recapping Moxley's New Japan U.S. title run.
Oh yeah.
He cuts a promo on Nagata.
Disco, you wrestled Yuji Nagata, right?
Yeah, I beat him. Tony Schiavone was standing by the near ring while Blood and Guts cage was lowered. He then brought out Kenny Omega for an announcement. Omega walked out wearing the AEW Championship while Michael Nakazawa carried the AAA, Mega, TNA, and the Impact Championships. Omega didn't immediately discuss any of that and screamed about blood and guts. He said he had been around the world collecting gold and said he wasn't there for him and didn't want to be there at all, so he begged Tony to make the announcement. Giovanni announced an eliminator match between Pac and Orange Cassidy for next week to determine his challenger at Double or Nothing.
That's horrible.
Omega said Pac is world. Bro, isn't this weird? They got a champion here that doesn't really have a credible opponent, just kind of like these other shows do.
Dude, what did they even sign? What did they even sign?
Cassidy, wait, let me finish this. Cassidy walked down, got into Kenny's face. Omega laughed, and acted like Cassidy was beneath him. Omega said he sees people with their hands in their pockets trying to emulate him because they can be like him, but they can never be like Omega. Omega said the only thing championship material about him was his shades. Omega took his glass off his face and called them legit Ray-Bans. And said since Cassidy stole his valuable time, he was taking something from him. He then put his glasses on Nakazawa. He estimated they were limited editions worth $1,000. Omega said the glasses looked better on Nak and that he looked more like a champion than he ever did. He said maybe he's see Orange in 10 years, whenever or wherever he grows into being an adult. What did you think of this?
What did you think of it?
That was all right. I'm not buying this.
Yeah, I think it was way too long a promo. They wanted him to do too many things. Give Pac a rub. Why would a heel talk about another guy beating him? You know, he said, Pac beat me twice, and Pac did this, and Pac did that. Then they wanted him to be funny with Orange Cassidy. So what's the heat? That you took off his glasses? Yeah. That's your heat?
And those are not $800 glasses.
No, I don't think so.
And I did love the line, anybody can be you, but nobody can be me. That was a great line. I thought this was too long, and they asked him to do too much. They would have kept this short. This would have been really good. And I must say, I like Omega now that he's way better than he was a year ago when he used to dress up like he was going to wash his car, and his promos were brutal.
I'm just disappointed because that's, I didn't
even know that they were the number 1 and 2 contender.
Yeah, where did this come from? Pac's been gone all that time. He's only come back for a few shows recently. I don't even know what Cassidy's been up to. Why do you have all these? What about Moxley, who got cheated out of the belt? What about Christian, who just came in? He's on a winning streak. Whatever. Like Omega versus Christian wouldn't be a better pay-per-view title match. I don't understand. I just don't understand it. I don't understand it.
I thought it was going to end up being Miro versus Omega, since he was going to announce who he was going after next. But
I guess Pac is good, and they have a story there. Oh, he beat me twice, but it doesn't sound like that. I heard that they already showed an ad promoting Cassidy versus Omega for the belt, so he's probably going to win, at least from what people are saying about this advertisement.
Shivani, Miro walked out for an interview and basically cut a promo on Darby Allin. Did they announce, Excalibur ran through next week's card. Did they announce that match for next week?
No, because
Darby versus Miro?
Oh, I think they announced it before he said it in his interview. You're right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Wait a minute. Did they announce it after he got thrown down the stairs and needed medical attention?
Yeah.
Yeah, because he says if he can't wrestle, he has to forfeit the title.
Yep, it's in the contract.
Wait a second. So they throw him down the stairs, and if he can't, he's got to forfeit the title for that?
Yeah. Next week, if he can't wrestle.
Shouldn't Scorpio Sky and Ethan Page be like, yo, what about our title shot? We're the ones that knocked him out.
All right.
Sounds like a setup to me.
All right. Next is Blood and Guts. I want to just go by everybody. I'm not going to even really explain, because I'm going to tell you what happened to the finish. Okay? The action spilled outside the ring. MJF ended up on top of the cage, and Jericho followed him in pursuit. The remainder of the brawl continued in the ring, and Jericho finally reached the top of the cage, and MJF begged off. Tully Blanchard had stolen the keys from Bryce Remsburg. Jericho applied the walls of Jericho on top of the cage, and MJF teased a tap out, but MJF punched Jericho in the balls. MJF applied the salt of the earth armbar. Jericho yelled no on the submission, and MJF eventually gave up and repeatedly smashed Jericho's hand onto the cage. He then bit his arm and reapplied the submission. In the ring, chair shots could be heard. MJF grabbed the dynamite diamond out of his trunks and blessed Jericho with the right hand. He screamed at Jericho to surrender, but he refused, and MJF eyed the ramp area and teased throwing Jericho off the stage. He yelled at the inner circle if they didn't surrender, he'd throw him off the top of the stage. Mm-hmm. Guerrero yelled that he surrendered, and the match was waved off. And, bro, the announcers, this was like the flattest finish.
It was so flat.
Yeah. It was so flat, okay?
And then you have Excalibur saying, he's going to throw him down on that steel stage. So then when he throws him, and you see the cardboard pop up.
After the match.
You see the cardboard pop now.
Yeah, do you want me to get to that first? After the match, MJF and Jericho went on top of the cage and raised his arm. Jericho tried to get up, but MJF shoved him off and through the ramp at ringside. It was clearly a crash pad. and Jericho seemed to land in the meat of it safely. MJF screamed thank you at Jericho. The announcer speculated whether Jericho's career was over.
It's like
the crowd booed.
It's like this is the steal. Like this.
And it once it flipped up, you could see the brown cardboard, you know?
Right.
Why wouldn't you just paint both sides or whatever?
Here was the thing that, bro, it wasn't as bad as the exploding ring match,
right?
But it was pretty close.
Yeah.
You know, because you were just looking at that and going, they think this looks good. They had like a drone shot. They had a upside down underneath shot. They had a shot where everybody's, you know, looking worried, like trying to make it look as you know, as scary as possible. Right, devastating. Yeah. And it was like, nah, dude. Nah.
Yeah,
it's like somebody on Twitter wrote, "Did you see Jericho get thrown through the pictures of a stage?"
That's pretty good. It's a shame. It's a shame that people are going to remember that, and it's going to put a stink on the match because the match had some great stuff.
It's a shame, but it happened, and that's why you have to do things correctly.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
So now,
that's on you. If you had a whole week or 2 weeks or 3 weeks to get this right, of course people are going to shit on you, bro.
It's kind of ironic, too, on the day that the interview comes out that we don't want to give fans like a happy ending. And then this is the ending. You know, it's just so flat, like anticlimactic.
Yeah.
And I think the announcers could have done something to salvage it. But
the way they announced the finish of that match was like, oh, thank God. Thank God he saved him. Thank God his life's not in danger.
Did you see on the padding it said "My Pillow"?
That'd be funny if it did.
This conspiracy horseman stuff.
Yeah. So my thing is, once they were on top, were they locked in? Why didn't no one leave to go up on top either? Took forever.
Yeah,
they were in. He was in the walls of Jericho or whatever he calls it, and then he was in the armbar. That whole time, nobody wanted to go up and double team someone.
Yeah.
And then finally, I think it was Ortiz that was trying to get up, and he'd already, you know, it's like what. Well, like there's some type of honor code that keeps you from going up. Like,
there's two guys
not
up
only
there.
that, bro. When you're there, you need a commentator to get it. Oh my God, he's begging off the massacre, the blood. What's gonna happen? There was none of that, bro. And even the way MJF was selling, it didn't make you feel, you know, any. He was just kind of begging off. Very, you know, if it would have been old school, bro, it would have been.
Well, the thing is, JR is already exhausted his material, right? He can't recycle what he said when Mankind did it.
Yeah, he doesn't have to recycle it, but bring some energy, bro. And he isn't, you know.
Or I think he's kind of like just so over it that he can't pretend, you know, that emotion anymore.
Right,
just
and,
like,
it probably doesn't excite him.
Well, I'll tell you what, like he's certainly.
You actually have to be excited to announce that way.
Right.
His big payday that he's got and so far, and he moving to Jacksonville. He certainly loves those things, but you know, it's like. You hear him call this, and you can tell he's kind of like gritting his teeth.
Did you notice the construction of the cells? How they have these solid, you know, the platforms around it on top. So when you're walking around, you didn't have to worry about like Undertaker and Mankind it falling through the cage, you know, to the ring. They built like a pathway on top of the cage so they could walk all around it.
I just think it's too bad that. Go ahead, get this go.
I wonder if they got trolled on Twitter for that.
No,
it's
Mark Madden loved it. He said it was the best thing he's ever seen.
It's a massacre.
Are you serious?
The finish?
Yeah, didn't he say like it was like war games, the best war games?
No, the inside the cage was good.
Yeah.
We're talking about
Madden said
the
that?
cage and the finish.
Yeah, unless I misread it, but like he put it over.
I saw Bixenspan said that. I don't know if Bixenspan.
And of course Dustin loved it. Dustin.
Yeah, Taz. You know. The guys that have to.
Anybody that works for the company's gonna love it. So I'm not sure what you know why.
Yeah,
I saw Shotzi put a tweet, like a little GIF of like a girl, or I don't know if it was her falling onto her mattress, like kind of poking fun at the end.
It's kind of what it looked like, you know.
I thought Sammy Guevara had great opening of that match, and all of his moves were great.
You know,
the Spanish
he did great.
fly
He just had that one
where he
slipped up one time.
But he tried to double jump, and that's a hard thing to pull off because I mean the ropes are.
But I'm just like the guy's in the prime of his career. He's in the prime right now. These are the best years of your wrestling life, and they're just wasting it. You know, you're just wasting it.
How's he wasting it if he's in the main event of the TV show?
Yeah, and making the big money.
And that's another point too. That main event should have been saved. Like that was They used that for just a Wednesday night show.
Should have been on the pay-per-view, man.
So what's the payoff now? Like, where do they go from there? Is what I was asking.
Jericho's out injured, and now they have a one-man advantage. I don't know.
What's left to the story there? Okay, the Pinnacle won.
Well, has
Pinnacle
Sammy
won.
fought
They
MJF?
can break up into individual feuds.
Sammy and MJF, no, they haven't had a match or anything.
They can go to that.
And then put LAX.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll probably call them LAX forever. Put Santana and Ortiz in there against FTR. That's the thing that I said sucked about it, because the War Games part was great. Sammy and Santana and Ortiz especially finally got a chance to really shine. Those guys have been in AEW for 2 years. What can you name big moments for Santana and Ortiz? They've kind of kept them caged. So it was good to see them get to do stuff.
And that's true, because I can only name that street fight that they had, and then tonight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where at the end, Orange Cassidy knocked them out. Remember after?
Yes.
Yeah.
I got a question.
Joe's got a question
for you guys. Just going Konnan. There's already people putting on Twitter a lot of the obvious blading that was being done in that match. Does that bother you guys? That they're just not?
Bro, I just don't. First of all, I've said it all along. That show, the premise of the show is South Park. Okay, so when they do this ultra violence and everybody's bleeding, I don't look at it as serious heat blood. I look at it as comedic. It's done in the thing like they're just bleeding because they're performing and they're bloody and they're gory now. And I just don't buy it. And plus, guys don't really work like.
No, but I don't think that was a question, Disco. He said that you could see them blading.
A lot.
Is that what you said,
Because
Joe?
they're not good at doing it. Nobody does that anymore.
Well, you know what I mean?
Perfect example.
Yeah.
We're trying to sell a bloody brawl, but just like with the leg slaps and everything, in the middle of it, they're exposing the business. They're not really. It's not. They're sincere.
Here's here's the biggest problem, bro, that people don't know about. But that's really that's now up to the
talent
performer.
No, not the talent, but the guy that's like this is one of my jobs in AAA, right? Mm-hmm. I have a monitor in front of me, and I'm giving the referee cues.
Like a producer.
Yeah.
Tell them to go home, tell them to work the people, tell them to do this, tell them to do that.
Yeah,
sometimes the cameraman, not knowing that they're blading, they'll go there now, tell the camera to pull away.
Yeah.
So that's the job. Somebody's not doing their job.
Yeah.
In AEW, because that should not be coming out.
Like perfect example is you got, bro, they're not used. Nobody's used to shooting color anymore. They don't do it. So you got to get the guys in there shooting the thing. They probably they're just shooting a regular, and the guys, and plus you got a lot of guys that probably didn't realize.
Funny because the guy that's
get away
running,
from the camera and go do it.
Let me tell you what's funny, because the guy running, and I'm sure you know him, Kevin Mitchell.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Keith Mitchell.
He worked in WCW,
Mitchell,
worked in Impact. Keith Mitchell. Yeah, you're right. Keith Mitchell.
Mm-hmm.
He should be like pull away. I don't know. Maybe he's looking at something else. But that I did see Jericho, and I was like, wow, that's pretty out there, Chris.
I'm getting used to being disappointed. Like I see the roster, I see that they have this primetime slot, pay-per-views and all that. I had really high hopes. And then when silly shit happens like that, or like they're just plucking Cassidy and putting him in the title match, like when there's so many, I'm like, dude,
give me one episodic soap opera storyline they got going right now.
They just killed two of them, didn't they? They had QT turning on Cody. They had the Pinnacle versus the Inner Circle.
That's it. And I was discussing that with Joe a little bit earlier. In 2 years, Britt Baker's character has not changed.
Yeah.
She's still the same person.
Orange Cassidy.
Yeah, Orange Cassidy. Like, there's no character development. They're just like, hey, here she is again wrestling.
Yeah,
but
she's gonna get on the mic and be a. Yeah, here we go. It's a lot of the people that aren't as well known as your Jerichos or Moxley or Christian, whoever. They've been at a standstill for 2 years. There's no evolution.
I guess Kenny's one that's kind of had a little bit of progression. Yeah. He went over to Impact. He's gaining belts.
Yeah, Kenny and the Bucks turned heel. That's about it. And where the is Adam Page? What is going on?
Yeah, missing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they're all on Evolution. See, we don't watch Evolution. That's the YouTube show, with the
Elevation.
Elevation. With the big.
I like when the claim comes out and the one guy's like rapping, like "Yo, what up?" and all this other. And then the other guy feels he has to say something, which he has no reason to say anything at all. And he goes, AEW, Acclaimed is back. Really? Did that need to be said? Like, we know you're back. We're watching you right here, right now. It's like...
I do like the fact that whichever kid does the rapping is like, he throws some good zingers in there every now and then.
He's good.
Yeah.
Caster. His dad was a tight end for the Jets.
And someone said to me, wasn't this Caster kid ranked number 2 like a couple weeks ago? Hadn't lost a match this year or something, but they just pulled
like a 7-match win streak.
Just forget about it because we want to have Orange versus Pac and see what happens there.
I don't know. Bro, none of the wrestling shows are getting my go.
No, they are. They are. If you're, that means you're angry. They are getting your go.
But Disco, how about MLW, where we might see the return of Monster Sauce?
A Monster Sauce is going to be back there.
That looks cool.
Isn't that one?
Chef Cobb.
Luchador, the one. No, the one that kidnapped Selena. That's just grunting. Who's that? I don't know who that's supposed to be.
Jeremy Borash.
Konnan, who is that? The one somebody kidnapped Selena. Somebody kidnapped Selena.
But that was a guy in a hooded mask, in a ski mask.
What are those guys?
Yeah, he's just like, exactly.
Whatever happened to Abaddon?
She's dripping blood somewhere.
Yeah, she's still with them. I've seen her on like YouTube interviews.
Yeah, that's a great question, bro. There's so many people that just reappear like
wins.
Like for a while, like. Somebody just mentioned Matt Hardy. What happened to him? He appears, he reappears.
Abaddon
Hardy, Christian, Adam Page. Just off the top of my head.
How can you have all these groups, all these people in groups, and all this talent and everything, and you got Julia Hart's on the show and some Asher guys on the show, and like
there was
you
no
can't even
Dark Order
use these people.
No Dark Order.
Here's another guy.
Here's
another guy that you see every week, and all of a sudden this week he wasn't there. The silver guy. Yeah.
Oh, the Dark Order wasn't on the show this week.
Well, they finally changed the ending.
They're finally listening to the fans because, bro, they were over mega super exposed.
You mentioned earlier, Disco, that clip on I think it's AEW Botches, where they were like 5 weeks in a row. The show ended with the Dark Order running out and whatever.
Yeah, running out of the front of the floor.
So they've been buried -1. He wasn't there.